Northland Park project was a 2023 park that dripped into 2024. As you all know, we were able to complete it and open it right before the start of the summer, but we do have to go back and get a couple of other points completed. One of the things that should actually be finished in the next couple of weeks is we ordered shade structures to go over some of the seating outside of the pickleball courts. One of the things we noticed when we toured a couple other facilities around the Bayshore area and running into some other pickleball players, the one thing that they stressed to us was shade, and more shade. So these are one of the things that we're following through with that project. We're also installing a wood barrier, which was something that was added to the project afterwards. I was seeing some cars in the parking lot. We see that there really is no barrier between the parking lot and the playground, so we're going to go back and add a wood barrier, much like we have at Cambridge and Andover. Just another quick note about Northland. We did submit the park for an Excellence in Design Award through the NJRPA, which is the New Jersey Recreation Park Association. Every year they have a list of awards that municipalities can apply for, and we thought that Northland Park, based on the criteria of the award, would have been a great fit for Excellence in Design Award. A couple of years ago, we won an award for Veterans Park and the seawall, so hopefully we have some of the same luck in that regard. Waiting to hear back from them. Some recreation updates coming up this Sunday. We have the Veterans Breakfast and Car Show at the high school. We're honoring the veterans in town from 9 to 11, and the car show is outside by the tennis courts from 11 to 1. We have the Christmas tree lighting coming up on Thursday, December 5th. The menorah lighting on Monday, December 30th. We have a couple of programs mixed in there. We have a Centerville bus trip coming up December 7th. We have a senior trip to the Playhouse on December 12th. Family Pizza Bingo, Princess Tea Party, our open gym nights that run every Wednesday, so now it's at the end of school. And our department is currently working on some winter programming and a list of completed events for next year, so we can get those out to the residents sooner than later. That's kind of where our Parks and Recreation is.
Do you want to just get a little note? I just wanted to mention, you didn't mention it, but I want to mention for those in the audience that the marching band will be playing for us and kind of ushering our veterans out to the car show. So if you want to hear how great they were, it'll be another opportunity.
And Keith, if you have been with me today around 3 o'clock in Northland Park, it would have done your heart good. The park was completely covered with children of all ages, and pickleball courts were humming. It was a real feel-good moment. And I just felt terrific being there. I had taken my granddaughters, and seeing what was there, I know I forwarded some of that information to my colleagues here, but Keith, that was an outstanding park. Nothing but compliments to that. So kudos to you and your staff on Northland. Thank you.
Next up is going to be John Roman. We'll be giving an update on the Cliffwood Beach restoration project.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Mayor, through you. I'd like to provide the Council with some good news regarding the Cliffwood Beach project. I don't know how I'm going to pass up all the good information that Keith just gave. I don't know how I'm going to top it, but I'm trying to. I wanted to start off by replaying this video for you that I made in 2021 regarding the project. When I came to Aberdeen, I kind of became obsessed, for lack of a better term, about your beach and the reconstruction that you had planned to do. So I learned everything I could about it. I found that we had done a 2019 study through Rutgers University regarding the beach. This is just a background for those who don't know. There's a lot of people here Cliffwood Beach was a resort from 1920 to about 1960 when Hurricane Donna and a subsequent hurricane took it out. It was a nightclub, a boardwalk, cat and fiddle restaurant. Such a rich history down there. And it was also home to the largest outdoor saltwater pool that obviously you guys know that is still there today, just filled in. So, over the years, the council has made incredible investment down there. The park alone was a $2 million investment. It won an award for aquatic design for your spray park. It's phenomenal. But obviously it is under attack by Mother Nature. So going through this further, I think you'll be able to see some of our events down there that you've put together through our recreation department, our 4th of July down there, some Aberdeen Day, sometimes down there. Our summer concert series is very popular and will be getting more popular, always at Cliffwood Beach and at the park. So, it's a busy park, as all of our new parks are, but it is constantly under attack by the Bay and Mother Nature. This video is about 3 years old at this point. This is what it looked like 3 years ago. It looks very similar in numbers today. This is a problem all over New Jersey, and every single municipality along the shoreline is fighting for federal funds, county funds, state funds in order to redo their beach, or to make it more resilient from ever-increasing climate change and stronger coastal storms. So, in 1976, Aberdeen built a seawall through the Army Corps of Engineers. It was destroyed in Sandy. It was severely damaged in Sandy, and you guys put $4 million, mostly federal funds through, and other sources of revenue to redo it. And now today it's home to a half-mile walk that is used every day by the residents, and it's very popular. So we'll get into that. Essentially, the seawall had unintended consequences. No one knew at the time in 1976 what a seawall was going to do. And what it's doing essentially is cupping, after the seawall ends, it's cupping the sand out of the, what we'll call critical zone, and sending it towards the bridge. There's nothing to stop this as it is. Even if you put sand down, spend money on sand, it's not going to stop. Windstorm could wipe it out. So the township, through the town manager, and obviously through you guys, commissioned the study, and then have been working with Colliers Engineering, Monmouth University, to come up with a solution. As you can see just on this video right here, if you're looking at it, all of our sand has actually migrated a lot towards the old bridge. Funny enough, when we were discussing with the DEP how to get our sand back, they actually considered, it's actually a process called backpassing. They considered us going to get it, but going through a different county and a different municipality to steal our sand back was a tough sell. So we've gone through the process. At this time when I made this video, we did not have the answers. We were looking for the answers. We were looking to design a new beach, and I'm happy to report that we have done that. Just real quick with this video, this is 1986 after the beach replenishment that was done after the seawall, and this is a fade away to today. As you can see, all of our sand is gone and it's migrated what is really north or west. This is a satellite image from 1995, and this is what it is today. It's actually September 2021. It's worse today. This is a fade for you to get a look of it. Basically, you have no sand left, and we're looking to rebuild it. So, to fast forward through this, at the end of this video, as you can see, your sand's gone. Our goal is to put it back out to there, where the 1950s and 1960s. Originally, we thought that we'd have to just extend the seawall all the way to the jetty. However, that is very expensive, and finding funding for that would be a lot more difficult. So we've gone through the permit process, and we are much deeper into this now. And I just want to show you for a moment this slide. one. So this is a presentation I had with Naval Station Earl recently. Just some history. Here's some photos. That's the seawall that was built. Here's some of my favorite photos that we've taken over the years. Some by Quinn Bond, some by Adrio, who lives over there, some by Jackie Dickert, who's should be a famous photographer in the area. Obviously, as you can see, the beach is absolutely beautiful, but it is under attack and continues today, flooding almost every single high tide. We were trying to figure out what we were going to do to fix that, and I'm getting to the solution right now for everything. In 2022, we had the Army Corps of Engineers in Town Hall. The Army Corps was doing a feasibility study to find out how they could help. About 7 years ago, Union Beach had a feasibility study done through the Army Corps, and you can see the massive federal investment that they received during that time. However, that is at least a 7-year process, and considering that we were a little bit ahead and we told them we didn't have the time to wait, their project would be a little different, maybe possibly raising the roads, expanding the culverts under Willow Creek later on, and helping us with our recreation. So I want to say this as a caveat. The Army Corps is subject to federal budgets, and if their federal budgets were cut, that would end up delaying any further projects. That's something that they made sure to tell me. So, as I state here, according to the 2019 study, all of the sand is cupped out, and we've been working with the DEP to just get the permits, and the process was to prepare, to engineer, to do everything that we needed to just get to the application process. Took many years. But on October 1st, after nearly 4 years of studies, preparation, and engineering, the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection gave us the full green light on our resiliency, reconstruction, and reconstruction project. So this is our plan. This is an actual picture of Yorktown, Virginia. And that is the design that our design is based off of. In 2023, Aberdeen Township's Council applied in 2021 resolution, but we were accepted to the Department of Defense Readiness and Environmental Protection Integration Program, that's a REPI program, through Naval Station Earl. Basically, Naval Station Earl gets some money from the federal government to expand resiliency around their naval bases. With the help of our professionals at College Engineering Equipment, ACES, and our sponsor at Monmouth University, we've devised this plan, and Cliffwood Beach will be around for the future to enjoy. The REPI program will provide significant funding to help pay for this project. However, it is a matching grant. The project will be in the $6 to $7 million range, and REPI, as of now, when we applied for $3.2 million. The final design will look a lot like this on your screen, very similar to Yorktown, Virginia. It is to note that when this was completed 25 years ago, Yorktown, Virginia looked exactly like that, and 25 years later, it looks exactly the same. So there's no doubt of it working. It's just getting the funding to implement it. Our final design includes hundreds of thousands of cubic yards of sand nestled behind tidal energy breakers, which are the V-like structures that you see. They also include oyster castles that will not only clean the water, but allow Monmouth University to study oyster castles in the Bayshore. At this time, they really don't exist. There were some planted at Naval Station Earl recently, but this would give the students an opportunity to study if they can survive, and if they do, in fact, clean the water, etc. And also, for kickers, our plans included a 500-foot fishing pier for the public to enjoy. So this is essentially our engineering designs. The right portion there is where the gazebo is. That will connect to that berm to stop the tidal energy that's constantly coming in itself. And then you will see these V structures, tidal breakers all the way through, all the way to the jetty at the Aberdeen Old Bridge border. So it's not official yet. We will find out in the next month if REPI does award us the money. We are one of the few municipalities in the project, so we already have a great opportunity to get that money. However, we won't know until December. It is the amount of $3.2 million. The township taxpayers don't, through you, obviously don't have the ability to just dish out $7 million at any given time. So the federal funding, the federal investment here is paramount. And I think you'll probably hear that up and down the coastline from every municipality. But if we were to get that $3.2 million, this project is a go. We would look for funding from Monmouth County Commissioners, open space grant later on, federal discretionary funding, as well as numerous amount of grants through the DEP, NICWIF, and other coastal resiliency organizations that have federal funds to allocate to something like this. That is all in the process, but it all hinges on the REPI program, and that is what we're waiting on at this time. So we will find out this December. And as long as that's go, we are full go on this project. It's not, for the first time, it's not an if, it's a when. Thank you, Council.
Thank you, Mr. Logan.
Thank you, John.
It's very well done.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I mean, some of you, I think, have seen these slides before. I must say, John has made sure that our federal agency partners, our state partners, the county, they've all seen this, they all understand. They're all trying to help. We have our grant funding for additional funding as well, besides the conversations that we've been having with the state and counties over the past year to try to make sure that this project comes to an end the way that we need to as saving our infrastructure. And John has just been non-stop trying to make sure that everyone knows about this project and where we're at with it and how we are in need. And we are working to try to set up time with the Commander Earl to also have him come out here and speak with all of us. And I know you guys are doing the same with all of the different agencies too, to just try to get the comments out. So we appreciate everything as well. Last couple of things are just from me. Tonight you will be approving a resolution of the 2024 best practices. And just so everyone remembers how that goes, this is a inventory platform that the state puts out every year. There's usually over 60 questions. Some are scored, some are not scored. This year we've had 52 scored questions, and which it's a yes, no, not applicable, or in process question and answer period. And we actually got 43 yeses out of the 52 scored questions. And due to that, we will get full funding from the state for our next year's, for the 2025 budget state aid, which is fantastic. And that was a score of anything over 35 yeses would mean that there is no withholding. So we did receive 43 yeses out of the 52. And all of these, the sections that we had to review were anything of our core competencies of our budget, capital projects, cybersecurity, environmental, financial administration, personnel, ethics, procurement, shared services, utilities, and I think a few more, and some things that were non-scorable that we had to just, we can give answers to or wait. Usually when they do a non-scorable conversation or questions, most likely we'll see them probably in the next 2 years. So you will be approving this tonight. We did have to already submit by October 25th, and then at the next available meeting is when we have to approve. So this did go in on time, and again, also just from where I was leaning towards on the competencies that we had to go over. This survey goes to the finance office, my office, procurement, communications for the cybersecurity, DPW. So a lot of departments were involved in this. It's amazing the state has all year to work on it. We usually only get about 3 weeks to go over everything and review it and make sure that we have all the answers, because they also ask for backup to it and make sure that everything is a yes and there's backup to the questions. So it's a very short amount of time that we do get it and have to turn it around. So again, I appreciate all our staff for that. I think it's great again that we hit the over 35 mark and was things that the state is looking for in our best practices, which is always what we strive for. And then, of course, also to make sure that we are getting our full state aid funding. There are many towns that do fall below the 35 and lose anywhere from 25 to 50% of their state aid because they're not implementing the proper best practices. So again, another good year for us in making sure that we are in compliance with the state. Some other good news from this week also. Again, this project has been ongoing. We've been dealing with the county and the police department, but the county especially because it's an intersection of county and township roads. I think we started back in August trying to get the studies done and see where we were at. But that's the intersection of Amboy and Prospect. We have a stop sign on the Prospect part of the road, which is the town side, and we have been petitioning with your guys' help with the county to get a stop sign on the Amboy. Of course, with all the pushing that we've still had accidents and property damage and injuries over there. But this week I did have a conversation again with the county engineer's office after working with Commissioner Director Arnone and his staff. But we do have meetings set for next week with myself, Director Patterson, and Chief Floyd and his traffic bureau that will be out with the county engineers. They've been doing their surveys and inspections, so we'll be out on site so we can go over what the county hopefully can do to put a stop sign on the Amboy side so we can have a four-way for that process. So again, I guess, like I said, I think we had meetings here at the town hall, at a council meeting, at the August meeting, just so again, keep facilitating that we need to get this taken care of. Letters were sent in September again. Emails were sent again in October. Again, I was down there for some meetings with the commissioner director and his staff and got it down to engineering, and they've been working on it. And like I said, this week we got a call from the engineer's office that they want to meet on site to go over some of the road work. So hopefully, the next meeting I will have even more news, or hopefully they're just going to put the stop sign up for us and get it done. So they'll have a four-way in that area that we've had problems with. But I do want to thank the chief because he has been making sure the patrols get over there. We've had the signs over there, signboards that try to keep more awareness for residents and drivers or people that aren't from our area to slow down and through that intersection. So again, we'll keep you guys apprised of that and keep going. So again, I know it's.
Can I speak?
Not now. In the regular meeting, this is workshop to explain everything that we're going to be talking about in a few minutes. And you'll have an opportunity to speak at the regular meeting that follows momentarily. If it's an agenda item, you go first. If it's new business.
No, it's about the same Prospect Street and Amboy Road.
I got you. Okay, so when it's time for that, I'll certainly tip you off on it.
And if I can go over the regular part of the agenda, and then if you guys have any other questions, I will answer, and I can have the other department heads here if you have questions for them as well. So just going forward, we have the second reading on our ordinance 24-2024. New business consent items for tonight. Resolution 120 is the shared service agreement with the County of Monmouth to provide the CRS, the Community Rating System Project, software for another 2 years. This is a part of the National Flood Insurance Program that we work with the county on. And again, the county is picking up most of the cost for this, and we actually will be only having to cover for this one, for this 2 years, $1,875 of the software. Item 121 is a transfer from the finance office within budget lines. Item 120, Resolution 122 is the appointment of Michael Selly as our municipal court judge for another 3-year term, effective January 1, 2025. Resolution 123, this is something that's actually already been in place, but with the new affordable housing rules and regulations, we now have to put in a resolution and name our liaison, which is Eric Walker. Eric has already been doing this job for the past couple of years, but again, as you all know, the affordable housing rules rules have changed through this state legislature over the past year. Again, 124 is the best practices certification that I just went over with everyone. Item 125 is the additional 12-month contract with Power Save for the heating and cooling system for township properties. 126 is the contract award for snow removal at the mass transit parking lot to Quality First Contracting. 127, again, is another DPW awarding a contract to Core and Main and Ferguson Waterworks. That is to do work on our sewer and water systems when needed. 128, again, is another program with the Senior Citizens Area Transportation System Program from January 1, 2025 to December 31st, 2025. Item 129 is the approval of the revised rules, regulations, and operations for the Township of Aberdeen Police Department. 130 and 131 are release of performance guarantees for properties within town. And we do have two raffle licenses for approval as well. And we will have an executive session on contractual items for this evening. Any other questions on items for tonight? Sorry, it's a long night. We only got a couple meetings left, so we're trying to get everything in order to make sure that we're compliant for the year.
Are there any questions from council on this? If not, I'll take a motion to move into the regular meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor of that?
Aye.
Wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Aberdeen regular council meeting for Thursday, November 7th, 2024. This meeting is being held in conformance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice will be given to the newspapers of record, posted in the municipal building, filed with the municipal clerk. The next open public meeting of this Township Council will be Thursday, December 19th, 2024 at 7:30 p.m. Roll call, please.
Councilman Cannon.
Here.
Councilman Rich.
Here.
Councilman Kelly.
Here.
Councilman Martucci.
Here.
Councilman Swindell.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Montal.
Here.
Mayor Tagliarini.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm going to ask you all to please rise for a moment of silence. Remember, salute our great flag. Commissioner the council will always issue the following statement. That we did to the men and women in uniform who protect us here on our soil and foreign soils around the world to allow us to meet in these forums. At this point, I would also like to give you an opportunity for any personal intentions that you might have. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for this meeting. At this point, we're up to agenda item 5, if you're following along, which allows you the opportunity to talk about and question any item that is on the agenda. Not yet. Okay. So if you have a question or a comment about any agenda item, please come up. Well, there used to be a microphone there. It's there? Okay, good, thank you. And just give us your name and address, any questions you might have. Okay, not seeing anyone coming to the podium, I will then skip on to number 6, which is reports from council and maybe our chief. Chief, do you have anything to add to that?
Nothing to report.
Thank you, chief. Council members, anything?
Mr. Mayor, I just want to touch base with Director Patterson's comments. I live in the A section, I live right around the corner from the phase 1 project. And they're moving. These guys are falling to get this done for the citizens. Really impressive to watch. Also, just want to make mention of Lucas Brothers' employees have been stellar. They've been friendly, they've been kind, they've allowed people to get through when they need to get through. They're very cautious of facilities. This is a big group, and it's been a pleasure to have them on our
I was pleased to attend the public safety meeting today, the chief of police and both of our fire districts. We had a lot of good discussion on how to improve response times for the residents, as well as some issues that are facing the fire department and can use some help with. So that's to be joined by you, Mayor, and the Mayor Malton. And it was a really good conversation. It's really good to know we have fire districts and we technically are giving out employees and stuff, but it's great that we established this thing to get together with that because I think it was really helpful this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I just wanted to mention that we did have a fire just recently in Cliffwood Beach on the Rain Drive. I actually drove by. I have a friend that actually lives right next door to the house that was on fire, and you know, fire is always a scary thing, especially when we haven't had rain forever. And the police and the fire departments did an excellent job. As a matter of fact, at the fire safety meeting today, the fire department spoke about our police officers who were on the scene first and basically had taken down some of the fire before the fire trucks even got there. Kudos to everyone. Nobody was hurt, everybody got out of the house. It was a good thing.
Anything else? I don't know if this, well, the first thing I'd like to do is just repeat it because we feel so important about this. If you know any veterans that live in Aberdeen that might not have signed up yet, we're treating them to breakfast Sunday. In fact, Township Square Diner is actually donating the breakfast for our veterans. I believe we'll have a representative from the governor's office, Veterans Affairs will be there. A very good friend of ours, a former councilman from Marlborough, who started the Veterans Chamber of Commerce. Will be there speaking about how we can help veterans that are in business. And thirdly, any donations that we receive that day, we're already asking for a small donation from family members of the veterans. We decided to support the great work of Tunnels Tower, and they'll have a representative there to speak about Tunnel Towers. So those will be the three speakers, and we look forward to anyone and anybody, please contact us, tell us tonight. We'll help contact them. And finally, again, this may not be a report, but it's something that's near and dear to me, and I know the rest of the council. We'd like to thank every single registered voter in Aberdeen that went out and voted on Tuesday. No matter who you voted for, you actually performed your civic duty to the highest possible realm. And it doesn't matter who you voted for. It matters to you who you supported. It matters to you if your candidate won or lost. But we're also proud of our residents who went out and voted. And all I can say from a bipartisan perspective is that I have to wish everyone who won, from the president-elect down to every single municipality winner, that we wish you the very best. And we hope for the best. And we hope that you'll keep in line all of us in your day in and day out business. And I know that that's the way we like to work up here. If you know me at all, you know that about me. And we really feel so blessed to have great relationships with everyone in the state, from the governor down to county commissioners. I mean, you just heard that an all-Republican county commission gave Aberdeen $475,000 to do that park improvement. And I think that it's truly based upon relationships we've all built with them. So I wish and I pray that all the victors keep us all in mind in their day out and day out business, day in and day out. And also, we have to give thanks to the people who also ran who were not successful. Because, you know, to give up your time, especially from your family and everything that, we'll move along to number 7, which will be a motion for the minutes of the last meeting.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Deputy Mayor, my fellow councilmen, would like to make a motion to accept the minutes of the workshop, regular, and executive meeting of October 17, 2024.
Second.
Councilman Cannon.
Yes.
Councilman Hurst.
Yes.
Councilman Hurst.
Yes.
Councilman Martucci.
Yes.
Councilman Swindell.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Montal.
Yes.
Mayor Tagliarini.
Yes, thank you very much. Number 8. Ordinance number 24-2024, introduced and passed on first reading by title on October 17, 2024, and published according to law is now being taken up for further consideration and public hearing. Affidavit of this publication in the Asbury Park Press on October 30, 2024 will be submitted during the week prior to and up to including the date of this meeting. Copies of the full ordinance are available at no cost to the general public upon request. Madam Clerk.
An ordinance amending the revised general ordinances of the Township of Abington, Section 2-20, Division of Emergency Management.
I'd like to now open the meeting to the public for remarks or comments for or against the final adoption of this ordinance. If any, please go to the microphone. Not seeing any, I will ask the Deputy Mayor for a motion.
Mayor Tagliarini and fellow council members, I would like to make a motion that ordinance number 24/2024 be finally passed and adopted, and that notice of its passage and adoption be published by title in the November 13, 2024 issue of the Asbury Park Press.
Second.
Councilman Cannon.
Yes.
Councilman Hurst.
Yes.
Councilman Swindell.
Yes.
Councilman Martucci.
Yes.
Councilman Swindell.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Montal.
Yes.
Mayor Tagliarini.
Yes, thank you very much. May I have a motion, please, for number 9?
Yes, Mayor and fellow council members, I'd like to make a motion to adopt the consent agenda, which consists of resolutions 2024-120, 2024-131, as well as raffle licenses RL1310 and RL1311.
Second.
Councilman Cannon.
Yes.
Councilman Hurst.
Yes.
Councilman Cannon.
Yes.
Councilman Martucci.
Yes.
Councilman Swindell.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Montal.
Yes.
Mayor Tagliarini.
Yes, thank you very much. Sir? Now I'd like to open to agenda number 10, which is the hearing of the citizens on any items, whatever might be on your mind. Please come up to the microphone if you care to, and just give us your name and address.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is John March, 419 Amboy Road. My neighbor and friend,
Hi, I'm Chris Courthouse, 408 Amboy Road. I bought my parents' house. I've been there for pretty much 40 years.
Welcome, both of you.
thank you. I'm here 25. Regarding the stop sign they're proposing, I think you need a rail right there. I've witnessed the accidents. I saw a woman go through a windshield. I saw a motorcycle girl fly and crack her head on my street. And on that telephone pole is her picture. It's been going on for so many years, and I've been asking for 4 years in writing, which I have right here, to Captain Matthew Lloyd, and Brian Alberti. And I spoke with him, he came personally down there, and we talked about it, and he put up, at least he tried to get something done. He put up the signs and the stop streets and all on Prospect, but it's not working. Now you put a sign there that says 35-mile-an-hour speed limit, but right in front of that sign is a yellow sign that says 30 miles an hour. This don't make any sense. There should be a stop, there should be a traffic light right there, let them stop and go when the traffic light is green. Either that, my first proposal was, like Keyport has a blinking stop sign that you can't miss it. It's blinking red lights all around it on Maple Place and Beer Street. Something like that may have worked, but I think there's nothing better than an actual traffic signal. That's why I'm here. I'm representing the whole neighborhood.
I thank you very much for those comments. I believe earlier in the evening, you might have heard that the town manager has that meeting set up with the county engineer, Joe Tour. And Mr. Russell will bring up every point that you brought up, the blinking lights, traffic light, four-way stops is another thing we've heard. So everything that you just brought up tonight.
You know what it is, people going through South Streets, whether it's four-way or not. Yeah, and believe me, if the traffic there is going considerably slow, 25, 30 miles an hour, I wouldn't mind. But they speed like it's an Indianapolis Speedway.
Your points are well taken and noted, and will be part of the meeting.
Well, thanks for hearing me.
Oh, thank you for coming by, I appreciate it.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to add real quick, I think if you have 4 stop signs, people are going to be, the problem is coming up Prospect from the highway. I don't do it personally, I go between McDonald's and BP, because I've seen too many accidents. I think with the 4 stop signs, that will definitely stop serious accidents, but you're going to have so many fender benders, everything's going to be there every day. I think the only way to permanently stop this, I don't know if it's more money or what, make it a one-way from Prospect to the highway. That will totally alleviate accidents. You could keep people speeding to keep going through anyway. If it's one way, on Prospect to the highway, no more major accidents. Thanks, that's all I got.
Well, thank you both very, very much.
Okay, thank you. Great work.
Good evening.
Good evening. Lauren Ramos, 60 Philippine Frank Way. I second what they said. I used to live in that neighborhood and I never made that right off of Prospect, off 35 on Prospect, because that intersection is not awful. But while you're having your meeting with the county, the other intersection that is a big concern is Cliffwood Avenue and Madeline Avenue. Earlier this week, one of your constituents, Sean Egan, posted a video on Facebook where you see 2 pedestrians get hit so hard that they actually went airborne. You just put a Starbucks there. What's going to happen is in the summertime, the kids are going to ride their bikes, they're going to walk, they're going to go hang out at the Starbucks. It's only a matter of time before somebody gets killed. That intersection, kids walk because they're too close to the school so they can't get bused. It is a very dangerous intersection. With all of the building that is happening, it's only going to get worse. So something needs to be done about that intersection before a life is taken. So please, when you're talking to the county, for the love of God, bring up that intersection, because I'm afraid it's going to be one of my kids.
We discussed that in public safety this morning as well. There's too many variables. That intersection is not looked too. One, Aberdeen Road is closed in Madeline, so it's making the problem right now a million times worse. 2, the merge from Route 35, it used to just be one lane, and now the merge ends functionally at Penguin. So you have to navigate, if you're coming the other way, everyone's looking in a different direction. There's 5 or 6 different variables. So one of the things that we talked about today, and this is like, there's no plan on the table or anything, we're trying to solve this problem, because it's really been exacerbated by Aberdeen Road being closed. If you shorten the corner and took that utility pole away, you could make Madeline Avenue meet Cliffwood Avenue at a 90-degree angle so you could see both ways. And then you would, the only real way to divert the other distraction, which is the fact that the merge ends in Pengle, is to maybe turn Pengle into a one-way street the other way, so there's never anyone coming out. So, because there's just too many things to look at. That's what's happening to people. There's 5 or 6 different variables, and when you add pedestrians, it becomes 6 or 7. So that we did this, yeah, we're very well aware of it, and we, you know, Aberdeen Road reopening will take a lot of the traffic out of there, but that's not the permanent solution.
No,
so we're looking into it. Mr. Egan has let us know for all of 8 years since that bridge has been there, because people they're looking at something other than where the road ends, and they end up on his front lawn, because his front lawn is right there. So, yeah, we know very much about it. We just literally had a discussion about it this morning, because the fire department in our meeting said there's so many cars at this intersection, and we're having trouble getting the fire truck out down Angel and then back out. So, that we are very well aware of it, and we also are bringing the fire department into our discussions with the county, so it's not just, elected officials, relaying resident concerns. It's like a public safety issue to try to get some real movement from the county in that right way as well. So we did talk about that this morning.
The other option is when you're coming from the beach across 35, it's 2 lanes, that's why it merges into one at that section. Take it away and just make it 1 lane. I've almost got hit.
So the reason, I'll tell you the reason, the little quirk of government, right? So the state controls the rights of way around the state highway pretty much to the point of the bridge. So it brings more people through the intersection, which is in the state's interest, but it essentially delivers them to Mr. Regan's front lawn. So, yeah, if that was within our jurisdiction, that we would definitely do that. But the reason that it's there and it's built that way is because people didn't want to give up their lawns on Cliffwood Avenue when it originally happened to make a full merge. And that's where the state's jurisdiction is, where they left it, because their priority was 2 lanes through the intersection and not necessarily our residents. So that's we're from the government, and we're here to help point of the day, I guess.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hey,
Good evening.
this is any item right now, right?
This is whatever's on your mind, so.
Okay. So, first
Just
of all,
name and address.
oh, I'm sorry. I thought you guys told me that. Mark Bishop, 245 Center Street. First, I'm just going to address the camera in the room. It's something that a lot of people were asking for, and I think it was brought up in a meeting I was at. There was some sort of funding issue with the cost, and if you guys will commit to using it, I'll be glad to donate it to you guys. I don't know if you're going to talk to a media person or what that is, but if you have my phone number,
Thank you.
all right. So I wanted to come here and address something that I believe is hurting our community, and it's a growing concern for myself as well as many of the residents. What I'm going to say is going to be respectful while critical of Councilman Cannon. And I'd appreciate if you would allow me to say what I need to say here without interruption, because I believe that is very important, and some of you may not be aware of what's been going on. Is that fair?
Fair.
I'm not sure how many of you are active on social media, or if you have seen what's been going on in the last couple of days, weeks, or from what I'm told, even the last several years. So I do want to bring this to all of your attention. Mr. Cannon has been openly and viciously attacking numerous residents on social media with wild and unsubstantiated claims, most of which I believe that he knows to be false and defamatory. And I've experienced this personally in the past week. Over the weekend, I was the target of a public attack by Councilman Cannon, who accused me and my group, the Center Street Development Opposition, which you guys might remember, had thanked me for, of things such as selling people's private information and stealing donation money. These are serious accusations that are not true, and I believe that Mr. Cannon believes that knows that they are not true. And I'm honestly not even sure what his motivation was, but it seems to have been some sort of attempt, for some reason, to discredit me. I also want to point out that some of the language that Mr. Cannon had used in emails to residents before the no vote was the exact language that could expose the township to a lawsuit. And Mr. Mayor, I know that we had discussed this, and I'm thankful that it was corrected before public statements went out. But with the township nearly $40 million in debt, I find it highly negligent and irresponsible, especially from an experienced attorney, to repeatedly open the township to the financial risk of litigation at least twice in the last 6 months. Aside from the legal risks, there's a bigger issue here: the attacks themselves. This is a vile and unacceptable behavior that has no place in our community. We should be lifting people up, not tearing them down. Nobody here, none of us, are perfect. And we're all facing our own challenges, and we need to set a better example for our community and for our children. I believe that most of you have run for office as a public service to the community. We all know that it doesn't pay very well. I think that you wanted to make this town better for all of its residents, but allowing this kind of behavior to continue where people are intimidated into silence does not represent those aspirations. It shuts out voices that could be making a difference. I remember a time when we could all disagree about policies and decisions respectfully, where we argued based on the substance of our ideas, not by intimidating and demeaning those who we disagreed with into submission. And I would like to get back to that, and I think that most of you would agree. But I'm not just here to talk about myself. I'm here on behalf of the dozens of residents who have privately reached out to me and are too scared to come forward themselves. I've heard from several residents who have been attacked verbally, accused of crimes, had their phone numbers and addresses posted on social media, their employers have been contacted, and so on. And many of these residents have expressed to me the desire to be more involved in the community, to come to more town meetings, to bring up community concerns, and have even considered running for office or applying for jobs within the township. But they're afraid. They're afraid of the kind of retribution that we've been seeing. There are a lot of great people in this town with a lot of great ideas, and I genuinely think that most of you would want to hear from them. But those voices are being silenced by the fear and retribution created by one man that sits up there with you today. So here's what I'm asking. Let's get into doing better, setting a higher standard for how we treat each other, how we communicate with one another, and how we represent the town. Mr. Cannon, I leave you all an apology. Not to me, but to those who feel that they've been silenced because they're afraid, and if you're not willing to change, then maybe it's time that you consider stepping down so that we can bring back a spirit of respect and cooperation to have with you. Thank you.
Those accusations. So I'm not really sure what the retribution. Well, let's unpack this for a minute. So, Mr. Bishop, back up there and talk about it? Yeah, let's have a conversation about that. So I appreciate you coming down in person to talk about it, and I told you that before.
I wish you had questions for me that you would have to say.
Oh, no, I have questions for you. Actually, I do. I'm glad you came down. So number one, you're accusing me, I guess, of bullying people on Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay. In these Facebook posts that you're referencing, did I use any vulgar language or call you names?
And so, yeah, I think you called names.
Okay, I'd like to see those. And then the victims of this bullying in the last election, clearly this is bothering you now, right? So there was an election.
Well, it's bothering me now because you personally attacked me over the weekend and accused me in every single township page that was available for maximum visibility of stealing donation money.
I never accused you of stealing. I let you talk the whole time about interruption. That's fine, right? So the donation money. Let's get to that because I have some real questions about that. So it's not my question because as you know, I voted no, and part of the reason that all of us up here voted no was to eliminate the cost to residents for a legal fight. You remember that, right? Right. Okay. And I didn't donate the $10,000 because I knew there wasn't going to be a legal fight, so I didn't donate to your cause. But a lot of residents did. And a lot of residents have asked me two questions, well, a number of questions where they're confused as to whether there's still a legal fight with the yeshiva. So your neighbors who you collect money from have asked me, what's going on with the legal fight with the yeshiva? Some of them are under the mistaken impression that the township collected the money and asked me what we're doing with it. Others have asked, I'm just telling you, look, maybe I'm the first to report you. Others have asked where it went.
And that's why I should first to bring this to my attention, so go ahead.
Okay. And then the other question that I got from a number of residents, because you know that I'm the Democratic chairman of the Democratic Party in town, so my committee members, there's a committee member that have donated to your effort, and they're very concerned that you shared their information with Republican political groups. And the chairman of the Avenue Republicans is sitting right behind you, and you sent out a bunch of text messages in April. Remember that? Inviting everyone to the meeting, town council's destroying the town, right? And you should show up and back me up. Signed Warren Bishop. Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, who helped you send those?
Nobody helped me send those.
No, you have to have a special token to do that and be approved. And I checked into it, and it turns out that those text messages that you sent out to the whole town were the same text messages that sent a picture of me in handcuffs and me as a wife beater during the 2023 election. So the same people that ran the campaign against the people up here for office
are the same people that send out your text messages. And my question for you is, when those $10,000, I thought I could speak and interrupt you, right? I give you that courtesy. So the question is, you use its time without any notice, doesn't that give me a chance to explain? This is someone else say, well, if you're not going to finish your point, then yeah, there's different allegations here.
You're going to finish, you'll answer.
So those are the questions that I've been getting from constituents that generated my Facebook question to you, because people have been asking me about that, and it apparently appears, given that the chairman of the Avenue Republicans is sitting behind you, and Mr. Aiken, who ran the campaign last year, is sitting over there, and newly elected Republican Councilman Suzanne Reynolds is over there, that's true, that you collected information from residents without disclosing to them that you were going to use it for political purposes. And my question to you is whether you also use the money for that. Because when we don't run for political office, and you can go online and you can look at every dollar I've collected and every dollar I've spent and who gave it to me and everything else. But if you can't just go out and fund me and raise funds. So the question is, are you running for office next year? Because if you are, I suggest that you look up the rules about using GoFundMe and non-disposable funds for political communications from the same people that set out the campaign last year. So those are the genesis of my questions. It's not bullying, and I didn't accuse you of stealing, because I don't think you stole the money. I put you in the face and you're on right. But I don't think that you're using that money. Am I going to get a chance to respond to any of this? How many questions are you going to get? Well, you came up and told me that I'm lying to people and asked me what I was doing.
Why don't you tone it down? Tone it down. You're attacking him now. It's on the Ask the questions in the lower tone.
You want to have to talk over the microphone, so I'm sorry about that. You're right. So to respond, or do you have more questions? Well, I'm going back to the Facebook post that you're talking about, where I'm bullying. No, because I'm trying to get questions. Let's put that subject there, you answer the questions, then we'll talk about the Facebook post. Okay, so what are the questions that you have? Who helped me send out the text message? Yeah. So why are a lot of people in that group, and some residents helped out in different ways. Like you would know, or I don't know, it's on your committee, right? The Democrat committee. She made a lot of the graphics. She's helped raise a lot of money. She sat down at the desk with us. Other people came forward in different ways. Somebody had sent me a list of names and phone numbers for the people in Cliffwood Beach, and said, I don't know if this would be helpful if you want to send out a text blast. I have a service that can do that. And I said, yeah, actually, is there any way to get all the residents? And they said, yeah, but it's going to be a lot more expensive, $422. So I made a post in my Facebook group asking residents if they wanted to donate towards that purpose, to do so and to let me know, which is exactly what happened. So that's the money, and I have receipts for that, which have been posted to everybody that's actually concerned. Well, who's your residents? Hold on. What are residents? Who? Why? So that you can attack them too? No. So then what was the next question? So the next question is, you're upset about Facebook posts that I posted to Diana Pell, who's the president. Okay, so that was not the next question. That's the context of the election. See, this is why I wanted to go point by point. What was the other questions you asked? Oh, if I know rules, regulations, but no, I have no idea. This is the first time that I ever did this. Do I know old people and something you said, pictures of you in handcuffs? I have no idea. You want to know why? Because I'm just a normal guy, living in my house, trying to run a business. I got a 2-year-old and a pregnant wife over here. You swept the hell out on Saturday. I'm sorry, excuse my language. With those accusations, and I shouldn't have to deal with that. And I'm sitting there one day, and I open the mailbox, and I got a letter about this ridiculous ISO that you guys put forward, okay? And I said, this is ridiculous. I didn't know about this, and I started to get involved. And I've seen a lot of people in the community, I was ready to reach into my own pocket and pay my own lawyer by myself to come and fight this. And then when I seen so many people in the community that were aggravated by it, and they didn't know what to do, the neighbors were scared, and they didn't know what was going on, I said, well, why don't we all get together in my office and just talk about this? And we got there, and then one thing led to another, we had the group, and we raised the money, and we got the lawyer together as a community. That was my first involvement in politics. And you know what? I'm not forcing God. I really like what you said, Mayor Fred, about Mayor Tagliarini, I'm sorry. Before about being nonpartisan and being able to agree and being able to work together.
That's all I'm worried about. That's all I've ever been worried about. I never wanted to get into politics. And the first person, I had over a dozen people reach out to me just to let me know to not meet with you. That you were going to lie to me, that you were going to talk me up, that you were a really smooth talker, that you're going to be full of BS. No, none of them. I never talked to any of them first. I talked to you first. I talked to you first. And I thought we had a pleasant conversation.
Vote the way you want. Right? You convinced me as a constituent to vote the way you want. Okay? So what was wrong with that interaction?
But you know what you didn't do? You didn't help, you didn't give any advice, you didn't take any of the advice that I tried to give you. You fought me every step of the way, and now I question whether your no vote was even genuine. Because one, I got a phone call the day of the no vote trying to convince me to get everybody else on board to vote yes, which was the best thing for the town, which I haven't told anybody. But so that leads me to believe that maybe it wasn't completely genuine. But then your post and your activity, what prompted that? What prompted that?
You shared your neighbor, including members of my party, support information, and you gave it to the Avenue Republicans without asking them.
No, I didn't.
I don't know.
No, I didn't. I would highly recommend that if you're going to keep saying that, you substantiate it. Because the first thing that I did was screenshot it and send it to the attorney. And he said he gets back from vacation on the 12th and we'll talk about it. So if you're going to keep making claims like that, I hope that you can substantiate it. Because I'll tell you what, before I collected any information, I got those lists for the text blast, and those things are all already on there. So go ahead, take me to court, seriously. Seriously, if you want to work it out that way, then we can do it that way. But this is absolutely ridiculous. I'm saying something about court. You're going to keep making these accusations in front of everybody. It's insane. But there's, you know, accuse you anyway. You're still, you know what? I'm not. Let me just say this. This is why I wasn't coming here just to speak about it. There are dozens of people that reach out. I had half a dozen people reach out to me today. I had people from every facet of this local government, every facet, reach out to me privately and tell me that they cannot speak their voices. They cannot let you guys know what's going on. They see issues and they can't bring them to you because of the retribution that they're going to face from them. He's giving people's personal information out. He's disagreeing. What?
The school board president.
For disagreeing with the school.
How the school board president runs the town.
He is running people's lives and I have three people who have said that they want their lives destroyed for 4 years contacted. And all that I'm asking is that I don't believe that any of you knew that this was going on before. I don't know how active you are on Facebook, but go ahead. And if anybody wants me to substantiate any of my claim, you can reach out to me privately, and I have dozens of evidence, screenshots and everything else. It's just not fair to the community. We should be encouraging people to come forward, not scaring them away. That's the only thing that I want to bring up. I did not mean for it to turn into this. I'm sure.
Okay, comments like that are the problem.
Stop. If you want to talk, you can come up and have the form in this meeting.
Oh, we got it, man. I feel
into it. I'm calling out myself. I want my chance. Okay?
Every single person.
Everyone who wants to say something publicly can.
Well, that's good. We appreciate that.
all right. Thank you, Mayor.
I will say this to you. Not many people up here are pleased with what's going on.
That's what I believe, and that's why I'm here today.
I think I speak for myself all the time. I'm at a point now where I think the two of you should vacate the room and go bang it out. Take up the time here. Now, your supporters, and I'm going to say that, but I think that's a fair enough word, is here for this reason. We were not here for this reason.
Yeah.
We have no idea about this reason. We might have heard about the filming, which is your prerogative. In fact, I don't think we've been filmed for close to 15 years since we put up affordable housing. I don't know since
No, I mean, honestly, God, if you guys want the equipment, if you use it, you guys could have it. I know that's what
put up offers. But the truth of the matter is, to sit here and to listen to more of this, and maybe many of us are beyond this, is something that has to be hashed out between the two of you and not here. I'm sorry. But if anybody would like to take the microphone, because this is where we are in the agenda, then you may come up and speak your mind.
I am one of those citizens that
Name and address.
I do not want to use my name.
You can't speak publicly. It's fine, you can speak.
Go ahead.
Thank you. You started with saying that one of the reasons you posted on Facebook to Mark was because people reached out to you. My question to you, when Mark set up that GoFundMe page, it was very clear to everyone that donated what he was doing. He continued to communicate with everyone what was happening. There was no guesses where this money went. Even in the meetings that we came to with Mark, he mentioned that there were a lot of conversations between you two privately. So why did you feel you needed to post for those people that were questioning where the money was? Why did you feel you needed to post it publicly rather than going to Mark privately?
Right. In that respect,
that you need to admit that it was ill will.
I think I caught up in the heat of the election, and I should have called. I think you're right on that.
Yeah, Mayor, I think you should consider that. One of your council people are attacking someone that had nothing. There was no reason to do that. And I think that's why we're all here. There was no reason for it.
Well, as I said, I respect
And
all of
for
you.
you to say for them to go outside and fight it?
No.
I mean.
I think that was sarcastic.
Nobody, we don't think they're
That 40 on that.
No, I'm listening to you. I'm listening. I finished my question, and I know that there's others, and I want to give them the time.
Thank you very much.
I don't have any problem saying my name. My name is Cindy Santora. I'm at 418 Lloyd Road, and I would like to tell you guys my story. I moved to Aberdeen in 2020 and went on a Facebook group, and I asked some questions. Mr. Cannon responded to me, and he did not like my answer. He then proceeded in that chat to berate me and bully me, call me a transplant, and how dare I even comment on anything to do with the town. Do you know why I am in the Aberdeen Republicans? You know why I am going to make it my job to make sure you guys are replaced? Because of Mr. Cannon. Thank you.
Also, not a problem for me to give you my name. You all know I've lived in the town like probably over 30 years. I don't have a problem with political views, though I will tell you this. I don't have a problem with dealing with somebody's positions on issues, but when we start to make like ad hominem attacks, that's an issue. You want to say that I ran last year's campaign or the 2023 campaign? Yes, I am an Aberdeen council. You know, I'm a committeeman for the Republicans. That's well known. I don't hide that from anybody. But what I would say is to say that I ran it or was responsible for whatever was being talked about is not true. You can go look at the stuff. I'm not there as the campaign manager. Now, my issue with Mr. Cannon is that he brought my name into this. I wasn't involved in this conversation at all. And what I feel is really wrong is that it was a great thing that happened tonight with the school board, and you had the color guard and the people that were doing, the band. But I wonder how those parents would feel if they knew that one of your colleagues was bashing sitting board members and board people that are running for office. And I'm not talking about being against them on the issues, that's one thing. But I can only talk about myself here. So for me, on a post that was made. I was basically accused of being on the board and eliminating all of the custodians when I wasn't even on the Board of Education at that time. I was accused of taking away the citizens' rights to vote on the budget, when if you go back and you look at the minutes, you'll find that it was me and one other board member that decided that we're not for putting the budget and the school board election out of April, which is where it used to be. And my reasoning for that is just like this with government. You give up your right to government, you're not getting it back. People used to have a right to have a plebiscite on this school budget. That disappeared. Could be gotten back, but not easy. So this is what you said, Mr. Mayor, is right. I mean, we know that there's always partisan politics involved, but when it comes down to attacking people, that's a different thing. And anybody that knows me knows that when I was on the school board, I was never disrespectful to people. As a matter of fact, I got off the board in 2018. I think the last term I was elected, Mr. Cannon was actually there and was with the board president at the time, and actually said that, you know, I always behaved and did things in the right manner to help kids. So I just find this very, you know, unseemly, and it shouldn't be that way. You know, and maybe this is where politics has gotten in the country, but, you know, I respect, you know, people's families and what they do. I never bring them into that, and I'm fine with having an argument about the issues or how I think things can be done in the town that aren't being done here, or maybe I have a disagreement with how money is being spent. That's different. That's not a personal attack on you. You know, one of the things in that post is there's a man that was running for office. He's a combat injured veteran, and he was basically, you know, supposedly, you know, attacked. And I get that. You know, he is running for office, but, you know, it's just unfortunate that it's come to being making it such a personal thing. Now, I know the rest of you many years, so all I can tell you is that, you know, this has to stop. I want to hear that whether or not you agree with this kind of stuff. Because my name was brought into this out, you know, just completely there. Am I involved in the Republicans? Everybody knows that. But I wasn't even involved in this conversation. And then suddenly my name is brought into it as if I'm like, you know, I'm somehow the mastermind of all of this stuff. And everybody does what I tell them to do. I mean, you know, if you accord me that much power, I probably should have been elected here a long time ago. So, that's all I have to say.
Good evening, my name is Diane Capel. I live at 17 Applestone Lane, and first I would like to apologize for my outburst earlier. That was out of order, and I just get really hot when I'm thinking about this, frankly. I'm speaking as a town resident and not my role as school board president. I am a homeowner, a mom, a volunteer, and a taxpayer. Aberdeen is my home. I don't think it'll come as much of a surprise to people here, but I've had a few negative experiences, highly unprofessional, with Ms. Greg Henry over the years, especially this past year. I just ran in a nonpartisan campaign for school board, and the entire campaign season, I never posted or publicly said anything negative about the other candidates. None of the school board candidates did. Mr. Montone, Mrs. Gershner, myself, and Mr. Dyer never engaged in negative speech about each other. Mr. Cannon did. 3 weeks ago, I'm sorry, you spoke really negatively about me many times. I'm about to go over it.
I did not support you for election.
I know, no shit. 3 weeks ago, in response to my positive social media post providing information about our campaign, Mr. Cannon said that I was a member of an Old Bridge Moms for Liberty group. But then it turned out that that group didn't exist. After that, he said that board members, myself included, attended Moms for Liberty rallies in Marlboro and that he had photos. When I asked him to produce a photo of me in it, he backed off and said it was just the other board members. But one by one, they also said they'd never been to such a rally, and we still haven't seen any photos from Mr. Cannon showing otherwise. Over the subsequent weeks, He has said that I use people, I manipulate people, that I'm against school staff, that I'm anti-union, that I'm not smart enough to read election law, and ridicule the way that I speak. By November 3rd, the comments had become so caustic that many were taken down by the page's moderators. Last spring, during our school budget hearings, he took to the Strathmore PTO school social media page to say that I was anti-parent because I declined to plan a referendum to raise taxes, even though he knew that the board's attorney advised us that such a referendum is not possible in our case. The aggressive behavior isn't limited to social media. When I first joined the board, Mr. Cannon told me that no one who has lived here less than 20 years should serve in local government. He told me that I'm not permitted to speak during a town council meeting without checking with him first. Kid, that is not a lie. And those of you that were in the meeting when he repeated it, that I crossed the Rubicon, know sure as hell that it is not a lie. Unlike common practice on the school board, Mr. Cannon never makes clear whether he is speaking for himself, Aberdeen Forward, or the town council. It all seems mixed together. I'd like to know if Mr. Cannon speaks for you as he continues to attack and demean me. A number of my friends and I reached out to multiple members of council for help and did not receive any as far as we know. How do you see us moving forward? This just isn't how I roll, and it's a crappy way to lead a community. And thank you very much for listening.
Why don't you tell? First of all, I don't use social media for anything but to look at my grandchildren. I was unaware of what was happening until a board member did point out to me that if I didn't control Mr. Cannon, my husband would pay the price. And he did. Wow. I don't look at the social media, but boy, people send screenshots to me about my husband sleeping at meetings, and you know my husband. He's a kind, generous man. He's very polite at board meetings. He lets you speak. If he has questions, he asks them. He sends out emails. He talks to people. He doesn't want to embarrass administrators. He doesn't send emails to you, but he does speak to other board members. I've even heard him speak to you, so I've heard him on the telephone speak to you. So you can't say that he's never spoken to you in all the years that you've been there.
Did you ever see me say anything?
No, I didn't. But what I'm telling you, you said that board members tried to reach out to several council members, and I'm one of them. And someone did reach out to me.
I said my friends.
No, you did not.
I said my friends. I got it right here.
No, I don't care what you wrote. You said other board members. Listen, I wasn't going to speak tonight, and I don't have to speak for my husband. I really don't. But I really was hurt, and so was he, by what transpired.
Some people spout off. I didn't say that.
Well, but you think it's okay for your people to spout off?
You spouted off directly. I wasn't like to say other people spout off. He spouted off.
Did I call you names?
Yes. Yes, you called me an extremist. You called me an extremist.
An extremist?
Yes.
I believe that you belong to extreme groups for our children's education.
Well, you're out of your mind.
That's why I don't support you for election.
You're out of your mind. You don't have to support me. You don't need to
for liberty. Where's your photo, Greg? Where's your photo of her as long as liberty?
Next, please.
Well, thank you. I don't need to do back and forth.
My name is Abby Bird. I grew up on 110 Deerfield Lane. My parents bought their house here in 1973. They built one of the synagogues in town in the 80s. Okay, they're directly responsible for that, bringing an Orthodox synagogue to this town. I moved out of my house in 2019 because as a single mom who got hurt in a business in town, I could not afford to pay my taxes anymore. And now I live in Madeline. Okay, I've been voting in Aberdeen, mostly Democratic, until recently. So that's one thing. I'm the one who said things about certain people on the board because unlike anyone I see on this sitting board, I go to the meetings. I go with Cindy to probably more meetings than most people in town. And it is upsetting when you see 99% of the people on the board talking to Ms. Montone, and we have one person who doesn't make a motion. He's not on any committees, doesn't say anything, ever, okay? That was upsetting. Another thing I want to say here is this. It is illegal for a public page that is a political page to block members of the community And I think that you guys should look into that because at Review Forward page is a lot of people, myself included, thank you, after people did not like what I had to say.
Okay, your facts are wrong. He is on committees. He came to the school board as a 30-year employee. His strength, his facilities. He's been on facilities committees. He's been on other committees.
I haven't heard him say a word in the last 3 years. Not a motion, not a second, nothing. I go to the meetings. I'm there. I'm not saying he's not a bad person. I don't know him personally. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't know him personally. I'm there for my kids, okay? I can't live in my house that I grew up in because the taxes are so freaking high in this town that I'm living in a living room. I have to have a bed in a living room in a 2-bedroom apartment that I constantly call the board of health about because it's falling apart and no one does anything. Not in Aberdeen, not in Matawan. So you know what? When I see people on the board of ed who are just sitting there and not contributing, not even seconding a motion, it's upsetting. You need new blood. You need new people, okay? It's not personal. Because if he can talk the way he wants to talk and not be personal, then I can say what I want to say and not be personal. I care about my kids. I care about the fact that I spent every penny I've had in my life in this town, and in 3 or 4 years when my kids graduate, I have to leave. I can't live here. I can't afford here. My parents helped build this town, and we are being pushed out, and it's Aberdeen. Okay, I can't pay how can I not pay my taxes? My parents bought that house for $40,000. I have the tax sale. I have the bills. I have all of the original paperwork. And I can't even live in a bedroom. I can't even afford a bedroom. I have $3,300 a month in my budget to pay for a 3-bedroom, and I can't find one here. But yes, let's keep on building massive buildings and give them tax rebates. Maybe I should move into a new town so that you guys can I don't have to pay taxes on my rent anymore. It's insane. My rent went up $150. I got mold in my apartment. And not one person in Aberdeen or Matawan care. And it's enough. It's enough. And you have someone out online screaming and yelling. Please. I've known so many people on this council for years. I can still tell Miss Kelly, I know she don't like grapes in her salad, in her fruit salad. Why? Because I was a waitress in this town for years. Okay? I lived here. I did everything I could to keep my kids here. And for what? For what? So I can live on the couch and my kids can't even barely afford anything? It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
Anyone else like to come up to the microphone? I gotta have to say something. I have, Miss Pell and I think have a decent relationship. I would hope that will continue. It should continue. I don't go to school board meetings. So you can say what you like about taxes. Don't forget over 50% of your tax bill is school board. It's about 60-something%. So, you know,
when you hear the news, it hurts, doesn't it?
Oh, okay, so that's fine. So then why are we not taxing all these new buildings? Right? So if we want to have more money in the budget, right? Stop giving paper rebates or whatever it's called, the taxes, so that no one has to pay taxes. Just saying, like, when you say, like, oh, it's so sad that their tax money isn't paying for going to the school, then stop giving people tax rebates. They can pay. I pay for it.
Anyone else would like to come up to the microphone? Not seeing anything, motion to adjourn. Oh, we have an executive session. No, I think will be no action. No action will be taken in executive. I'm sorry. Where is it? Okay.
Where is the Open Public Meetings Act permits the exclusion of the public from meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas the public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, and whereas the governing body wishes to discuss contractual negotiations, minutes will be kept, and once the matter involving confidentiality is above no longer requires that confidentiality, then the minutes may be made public. Now therefore be resolved that the public be excluded from the meetings. In a motion and a second.
1 second.
I need a motion and a second.
1 second.
So moved.
No. Listen, I'm still in charge. Mr. Aiken said on the comment, I'm not going to have anybody leave this meeting. Since Mr. Aiken might have raised his hand when I said I saw no one else. So, Mr. Reagan will have the last word.
Yeah, I do have one more comment on that. As a long-term member of the school board, you know and I know that the school board doesn't approve any developments in town, and the school board is responsible by the State Department of Education to provide a free and appropriate education to every child that lives here. So I've heard that argument for years. The school board has to react to the developments that you folks vote on. And you know that, and I know that. And for Mr. Martucci should know it too, as an employee of the school for years. So that's very disingenuous, and I just wanted to make sure that that fact is known. Thank you.
Need a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
We're closed.
Mark, thank you so much, honestly.
You okay? Better now?
I'm good now.
Thank you. One at a time.
We appreciate you.